What's up, my friends? So this is going to be a little bit of a switch up from past videos, a little bit more light, a little bit more fun. It's going to be a crazy video because it's basically going to be about experiences from my life and from people's lives that I know. I just went on live, IG Live, to ask some people for stories. So bear with me because, I have some screenshots, I have some stories, they're kind of all over. And also I'm going to be making some up on not making them up, but I have things written down, themes. So I'm sure some, as in all my videos, some stuff will just come up. So let's roll the intro and get into it. All right, welcome, welcome, welcome. So I have to do what I always do, and that is the timestamp. So let's start with Leo. So crazy. Okay, so one thing with Leo, right? And this is just like obviously the low vibration, right? Like this isn't a low vibe, high vibe video. This is just random stories and experiences. So with Leo, so I had a friend / client, and she was telling me about a guy that she dated who had like a bunch of Leo energy, right? And basically, obviously, like the way she described it was insane. Like they were at like a dinner date, and it was she said that every single thing that she said, like whenever she started to talk, it was just like cut off, relating it back to something in his life, and then going on a tangent about him, right? And just not having the self-awareness. And after a little bit, she just gave up, and the guy just literally, she said he spoke probably 95 or more % of the entire date, and like the whole time he's just waiting for her to finish, like clearly not interested at all, just so he can go, plus interrupting. So I thought that was interesting, and one that just came to my mind, it's actually an astrologer, and something I kind of heard from a client of mine who had a reading with this astrologer, and this astrologer has Leo, and she was telling me that, very expensive, reading, and that for most, like, so he would say something like, you have this placement, and then he would she said he would link everything to something in his life. So it's like, oh yeah, you have this like this Venus square Neptune, and oh yeah, that reminds me of when I was dating this, it's just like, that's what she just said. It was a horrible reading and just not worth the money at all. So that's one that just came to mind. So Scorpio, hold on guys. Okay. So Scorpio, let's think. So I know someone who dated a Scorpio male who's super, super possessive. And it was to the point where he was jealous of her speaking to any other male. Like, I forget. I wish I could remember the exact. I remember there was one part of the story that was just insane. Like I forget if it was like her cousin, or it was something like that. Just so. And this is not a hickey, by the way. This is a bug bite. Just relax, people. But yeah. So I have it here. She told me that she once was texting with a classmate, zero traction, purely based on their school project that they were put in the same group for, and he took this as a massive threat. You're cheating on me, blah, blah. And he called the guy, oh yeah, and the classmate didn't answer. and texted back a few minutes later saying, guessing you called on accident. And then the boyfriend starts texting on the girlfriend's phone and pretty fast realizes he's an idiot. And instead of admitting to his mistake, he took it further, with the low vibe, stubborn Scorpio, and still, didn't believe her, or acted like he didn't believe her, like used that like gaslighting manipulation. And I wrote, of course he didn't want to answer. Or this is what he said. Of course he didn't want to answer. I've been feeling that you've been hiding something. Yeah, so that's crazy. So next is Pisces. This is one that's from my life. So this is not sun signs, by the way. And basically this, he's a really close friend of mine, Pisces Venus, and he basically had everything going for him in life, right? Like, I don't want to mess my shirt up with this thing. Hold on. Everything going for him in life. I'm not going to get into specifics, but he like on his way to being very, very, not just successful, like maybe even famous, and not for like the wrong reasons, like just for talent, acting. He meets this girl. This girl is just the worst. Like, literally stole him, turned him from like the most charismatic, like just great person into like more than a shell of himself. Someone who became a Jehovah's Witness. Not judging. I'm just absolutely, like, she put it inside his head that something was wrong with him. I've known him forever, and he's not an addict. He's not this, he's 1000% not just a normal person. And yeah, just like basically brainwashed him. I think probably used some black magic. But the thing about the Pisces energy is, and this is kind of more relative to everything, is the lack of boundaries and like, potentially seeing people for their potential as opposed to who they really are, right? And another example I have with Pisces is just someone I know who's completely delusional. I'm not gonna get into specifics, but they just have this feeling that everything is just like God is just gonna give this person everything in life. Like they don't have to work at all. Like they're headed in the right direction when really they're not doing shit, and that everything is just gonna fall in their lap, right? That's like the low vibe, delusional, lazy Pisces. And then at the same time, cannot handle like constructive, polite criticism in any way, just shuts down. So yeah, it's like the low vibe Pisces, like immaturity and just escapism, and anything bad happens just goes towards various forms of escapism and avoidance, and just runs away from the problems and just allows the shame to compound on top of each other. All right, so next is Cancer. So Cancer, let's see what I wrote. Well, obviously, like it feels like every girl or woman or whatever, female, woman, girl, tells me that the most toxic, and I just had screenshots of this, that the most toxic people are Cancer females and low vibe. I'm not talking about you good high vibe ones watching. And let me open this. Hold on. But yeah, just like the energy. Okay, some Cancer women are clingish, like literally keep you out of their circle in a mean girl way. I've heard that a lot. And what else is there? Manipulating Cancer women, holding on to grudges for lifetimes. Yeah, so that's another thing I've seen with Cancer is like, I have so many different stories of, just because like at least Scorpio can, tell you there's a problem when there's a problem. But like with low vibe Cancer, they'll just hide shit in. So I have so many different stories from my life and from Esme, this is my only shirt that's not full of cat fur. You'll have your video soon, Esme. But yeah, just so many examples of like times when like low vibe Cancer just didn't have the assertiveness to like bring something up and held something in for so long, and the other party thought that they had like talked it over and gotten past it, only to find out that that person's, you know, was like either talking shit about them or, you know, still resentful. Esmond, stop touching my TV. Esmond, come be on video. I don't like these mics, they just ruin shirts. Okay, so let's see what else I wrote. Yeah, I just feel like Cancer, like I have a lot of stories of Cancers just being very, very avoidant. Like you know, once like I can think of so many times. It's kind of hard doing this video without like wanting to like talk shit about people or like give like, you know, clues leading to people. But yeah, like people who like once like one person I know, like, you know, they got hurt once and just that's the only relationship they've ever had, even though they have lots of potentials for other ones, just because they got hurt once and it just like the crab crawling back in the shell. That's not really like, you know, the theme of this video as much. That's just something I would add in. But yeah, just with the Cancer, yeah, just that like using like, yeah, so many examples of them using their high emotional intelligence and like crocodile tears, you know, like pretending like just like manipulating through emotions. It's really annoying. Okay, Gemini. So Gemini, someone was just telling me in my thing about a story of one kind of similar to the Leo one, where they just like would not stop talking, like just would not stop talking. But let's see what I wrote. I wrote so many stories. One that stands out is the Gemini needing to stretch the truth and gaslighting. An extreme example. Let me read this before I say it. Oh yeah. Okay, so it's a girl I know that ended up finding out that this guy was running his own version of that Netflix show, the Tinder Swindler. Like, you know, he had ended up having like many serious girlfriends at once, and then played the victim and used, you know, the good wit that some Geminis can have and like talking ability to get himself out of the holes. And then all the girls came together in the end. That one was classic a little bit. He just moved and is probably going for it. Yeah, so it's like literally exactly like the, I don't know if the Tinder Swindler is a Gemini. Is he a Libra? But also Gemini, yeah, like I've heard stories of them creating huge, like just huge drama and gossip and just that two-faced nature. Like I can think of Gemini's, like it's just very hard. Like look, I love every sign. Like the high vibe, you know, it's not really about that. It's just about the low vibe. And my experience of the low vibe of Gemini, like just the gaslighting, you know, and you know, it's almost like I've experienced some where it's like their willingness to just go to take some drama or take some crazy story to an extreme is unparalleled. Well, I know there's some other energies that can give them a run for their money, but yeah, just also, yeah, playing victim. I've seen that a lot. I know that's not necessarily like a very, you know, big characteristic of Gemini, but I've seen that a good amount. Where yeah, playing victim and, you know, the world's against me and etc. Okay, Aries. I think the biggest. Let's see what I wrote. Yeah, so a lot of these are from clients. So this one client of mine described this Aries male that she dated as just like very, he wasn't violent, but just super, super aggressive, which, Aries can be almost childish. And actually, I just thought of an example of an Aries that I knew who is literally a bully, like just complete bully. But it's not really a story there. But anyway, so she described him as the lowest possible vibe of Aries. He always had to be right and started all kinds of arguments. He got super angry and mad to the point of screaming, super impulsive. Luckily, they never got. Where? Okay, luckily nothing ever happened that was serious. Um, Everything she would say, he would have to one up. Wait, I'm confused. Oh, okay, yeah, never mind, I got confused. No, okay, so they never. Okay, so so they never met in real life. So they weren't dating. I guess they were talking. Okay, that was confusing. But yeah, so like he would just one up everything, um, always showing off his accomplishments, and just yeah, another thing, and then, yeah, just not listening to her at all. Super narcissistic. Another example I can think of is an individual who just has no lots of Aries and just no empathy, but also no self awareness about how fiery he is, and just entering different scenarios, and everyone within a few minutes is just completely wiped out by this person's energy. It's just so over the top, but just no awareness of it. Okay, how am I gonna? Hmm, okay, so Libra. Okay, so yeah, with Libra, one example I can give of someone is someone who has no sense of self, or I guess just no ability to put themselves first or have any backbone. And, you know, could have the best opportunity given to them. But if, like, one of their friends wanted to come over at, like, let's say they had like a really important meeting or something, like very important, that could be huge for their career. Let's say they had the next day at 12, but their friend were to come over at like, message them at 4 and be like, hey, we need to smoke a blunt or we need to smoke weed, which for the record, guys, I'm a very non-weed person, just so you guys know. That matters. But he would do it, just like zero care, just always like putting himself down to bring, like, just for that fear, and then all of that fear of keeping things real, leading to becoming a pathological liar. Crazy, right? It's like so afraid to speak up and speak the truth that then it just all comes out the other side. That's why I always say it's so much better to be, real. Like, I always talk about, like, I would rather have a girlfriend who screams at me if it's like needed, obviously, than someone who holds things in and then explodes. And then for Libra on this one, I wrote this one. Okay, the person is in her later years, grew up very privileged and is now an extreme alcoholic. Oh yeah, she has told her mom that she wants no relationship with her, even though her mom is an incredible person. When both of her daughters had babies, she didn't come. This is like my experience. She didn't come until several months. They're maybe a 90-minute flight away. She's extremely materialistic and sent her children to boarding schools because she didn't want to have to go through the work of truly raising them. There's a constant theme of, this is not my mom or nothing, no one like that. I'm just saying this is like from my life experience. There's just a constant theme of blaming others, cutting off friendships that she acted like were her BFFs at one point, also having an air of superiority with her husband, who's just as wealthy as her. Like, they're just like the two best ever. They both lost touch with reality and their old lives. Pretty sad. They cut off family for no reason. Okay, so next is Aquarius. Where do I start? Let me think for a second for this one. I mean, obviously I have a lot of experience with Aquarius. Not obviously, but obviously to me. So there's just a lot of potential ways I can go. But just that constant out of sight, out of mind energy that can happen. Like, you can have with some Aquarius, like what seems like the most. I'm gonna hold this. Like, this is fucking my expensive shirt up. You can have what seems like the most amazing experiences ever, right? Once again, this is only low vibe. And then it's like just forgotten, just forgotten, out of sight, out of mind. Yeah, just that Aquarian aloofness, right? And I guess I can't talk shit about disappearing, but there's something about, and Aquarius is fixed energy, so it's like a lot of Aquarius are people who can stick to things. But that's just the thing about Aquarius, right? It's like when they feel caged in, they're out. And I have a lot of Aquarius and Sag, so I understand it, right? The one I wrote my example, I don't like that example because I understand it better now. Yeah. Like I have so many examples for Aquarius, but like I'm think like in my head I'm like, is this Aquarius or is this just more psychological with any sign? Yeah, just like, okay, like I could think of like it's a friend though, and he changed, but he was just like I've just seen a lot of Aquarius men cheating, and not feeling bad about it. Just like, yeah, just crazy players. Okay, Virgo. That was like really bad for Aquarius, but okay. So Virgo, I hope this isn't messing up the sound. What example that I use? So obviously, like, yeah, so I can think of various people who have Virgo energy who allow, like I said in my last video, there's always a million reasons each day that you can worry and that you can allow yourself to be in fear, right? And not trust God or the universe or whatever you want to call it. And especially when it comes to things that they can't control, and the overthinking, right? That's the thing with Virgo. Like, I love Virgo, but just like the intellectualization of emotions for Virgo moons especially, can get so crazy, or sixth house moons, like just the nonstop rambling of some, not all. And a lot of them are very, very intelligent, right? But it's like when that part of the mind, right? It's just always blah 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 blah, blah, right? Because it's a Mercury ruled energy. It just can disconnect from like the crown chakra, the third chakra. Like even the heart. No, Virgos have good. You tend to have very good hearts, but you know what I mean. Like, just like and then the nagging. And so another thing, like Mars and Virgo, there's a lot of like people thinking that their shit don't stink. But they'll, so like they might have like a very dirty apartment, and then they come over to your apartment, which is like not that dirty, but maybe a little bit, and then they are criticizing you, And I think the biggest thing that irks me about like low vibe Virgo energy is that perfectionism and just how it gets projected, right? And how like it can sometimes feel, as a Jupiterian myself, like I like to believe like anything is possible. Anyone can say anything and I'm not going to shoot them down. You know, it's like, even if it is a crazy idea, it's like, no, go for it. You know, anything's possible. But like around some people with Virgo, but there's really two types of Virgo, honestly. Like it's crazy how some Virgos are just so much more Pisces than me. But yeah, just like feeling like you're kind of walking on eggshells. Like they're so critical. They're like, especially like when they're like obsessed with words, like with being like perfectly grammatically correct. To me, and let's say you're just talking, and you know, obviously when you're trying to get a message across, all that matters is the essence of the message. Duh, right? It's like writing a perfect book, but no, they don't like the book because it had 5 typos, or it's like an amazing movie, like the most beautiful story, but no, the cinema, you know, the effects were not that good, or could have been better, like stuff like that. I don't know, but like, yeah, I guess like what I wrote here is also they would project their own self-limiting beliefs onto others, and also creating all of these false scenarios that come from the overthinking that impact others negatively. Yeah, and then just like that, like I said, like the projecting of their own low view of themselves onto those closest to them. So it's like it can be dangerous, you know, because like if someone feels like, I'm not saying, like I said, this is not all Virgo, but like if someone like is so hard on themselves that they feel that like they're here, like sometimes Virgo will do that, is that they'll take, you know, other people close to them and kind of bring them down with them. So, okay, Capricorn. Let me write this down. Hold on. Okay, so for Capricorn, it is a story about someone who it's less of a story, more of just someone that I know. A lot of Capricorn cares so much about what other people think of him, but acts like super carefree, making all these snide comments, like changing so much, like from behind closed doors to, you know, when there's people around, and just it just hurts, you know. And so like everything from like the working out and the clothes, like it's so like following trends, you know, which I can't stand, but nothing against it. Like people who are into fashion, that's cool. I mean, just like, but it's not for the sake of like the art. It's for the sake of you know, being validated by other people's opinions, right? And letting those opinions, you know, rule everything. And whenever anyone would get close to this person, like first that person might idolize him. The second, like they get close, it's like that metaphor of like, oh, you like me, then you must be shit, right? So also like with this this person, so actually later I wrote this down, I forgot about this part, but it went to the point, so like the working out and all that got to the point of like an eating disorder, which is obviously very, very sad. But he wanted to prove that he was so disciplined and that he could be in control of his body. And he had this like obsession with, you know, with seeing results and being in control, and just that need to impress others, right? But then it's like other people can see, you know, people aren't blind. Okay. All right, so Taurus, and then we'll finish with Sag. So yeah, my friend, I'm just gonna read what I wrote. My friend dated someone with a lot of these placements and noticed how difficult it was for him to be a go-getter and how he just expected things to be given to him. He had a certain entitlement, and people, oh, and I remembered one. And people liked giving him things, as Taurus is good at appreciating and attracting, but had very little hustle in him. There was just this feeling of overall stagnancy. He just had very little desire to put it put in any work and develop any type of passion for anything. Also very shallow and materialistic. And because he had been, coddled so much by his parents growing up, he really just didn't have any desire to make anything happen for himself. And, he was cool with kind of waiting, and kind of what I was saying with the Pisces one, like waiting for life to give him everything, right? But it got to the point where there's just no urgency. He was just wasting his life away. And, with that, coupled with that stubbornness, it was like no one could tell anything. So a few other ones. One Taurus one is like, I had this friend. I said had because I just haven't, I don't even know where he lives anymore. But he basically was so stubborn, like intellectually, and he was in my psychology school, that I told him, like, I will give you a reading. This is like when I was kind of in my initial days in astrology. I was like, I will literally give you a reading just to show you, like 1,000%, that there's no way you can deny astrology, because I don't know everything about you, and I'm just gonna like nail it down. So we had this whole reading. It was amazing. Like, he was agreeing with everything I was saying, right? And this is like a friend, this isn't like someone who was like, whatever. By the end, he shocked me when he goes, yeah, it's really interesting to see that your work has more, dimensions to it. It's more, whatever. But I still don't believe in astrology. I'm just like, oh my God. Like he's obviously just saying that, obviously the whole time it was just him agreeing with everything, right? So, oh yeah, and another one is a good friend of mine's just most possessive ex-boyfriend ever, like to the point where the police had to get involved, where he punched my friend's, I don't know the whole story, but he punched like her parents in the face, or her dad in the face or something, just like a complete psycho. I'm not gonna get into all the details of like how he was like controlling of her, like the things he made her do, the ways he made her check in, like the guilt trips, all that stuff. It's just like insane. Okay. Last one. Sagittarius. So, what's up with Sagittarius? So let's see what I wrote first. Oh yeah, so a client of mine from not too long ago, married, but the husband would always flirt with so many people, even in front of her. And just it got to the point where she kept telling him that it was bothering her, and he kept doing it, and there's other things that were wrong and eventually ended in divorce, but just basically like not like kind of the bluntness of Sag, but like also like the shadow part of Sag can be just the inability to listen to other people and to just kind of do too much, but yeah. What did I write here? Yeah, and like another like I've just seen different examples of just like for Gemini and Sag of just like how that shock value, just blunt energy of just like saying things that are just so like insane, or just like that lacking so much tact, getting them in a lot of trouble. Let's see if I can think of any more. Mika, stop it. Crazy cat. Yeah, I mean, I love like I'm a Sag moon, so like I'm trying to think. Yeah, just like another one, taking massive risks, like the idea of like walking into the casino metaphorically and thinking you're automatically going to win. Actually, I've seen a few Sag with horrible gambling issues and debts and whatnot. So yeah, it's just like sometimes the Jupiter energy just goes too far and it's just like too optimistic, too like, oh yeah, everything's going to work out. And then it can lead to some complacency. All right, guys. Well, that is everything. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Give me a like, comment, any experiences you guys have had with any signs. I'm very, very interested to hear. It's just kind of always, it's not just sun signs. It could be any position. And please subscribe, guys. If I think it's only like 20 or 30% of people watching the videos are subscribed. I think it's 20. So please subscribe. I'm not gonna beg, but I really would appreciate it. I'm trying to grow this here. And yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. And if you're interested in a reading, jesseandastrology.com. The wait list is low right now. I got through all of it. It's been a really interesting time with with eclipses and all that being done. A lot of people, just a lot going on. But I'm here to help you guys. I guarantee that it will be, if not the best, one of the top 2 best. I always said the best, but have to leave room. Natal reading you've ever had. So I do live and recorded with follow-up or without follow-up, but I prefer to do either a live reading, and I don't care about, like, with time, like, takes anywhere from 2 to 4 hours. I've had some that have been 5 hours. It's just like whatever it needs, whatever I feel. And with recorded, it's usually 2 hours. Then we have a 1 hour follow-up, and people usually add the current astrology, which I do all, after. So let me know, guys. You can follow me on Instagram at jesseandastrology. I have like 2,100 posts on there, like 8 years of work, a lot of very detailed posts. So yeah, thank you guys. I'll talk to y'all later. Ciao.